Alrighty, good morning, good evening, and good day, wherever you are in the world, listening or viewing from YouTube, Spotify, or Apple iTunes. My name's Craig Whitney, and I am the founder of Next Level Coaching and the Legacy Forge podcast. Today, we have a very, very special guest who's dear to my heart for reconnecting families and has an amazing legacy to share, Hugs Over Handshakes, and very unique in reconnecting families back to themselves with the founder, Tim Morris. Let's give it up. Let's welcome Tim into the circle to share his beautiful journey. Welcome, Tim. Thanks for coming on here today. Yeah.
Thanks for
How you
having me,
doing
mate.
today? Yeah.
No, I'm good. Really good.
Yeah, good. Good. What's underneath good?
What's underneath good?
We practice this in men's work, brother.
Yeah. There's a bit of excitement there.
Yeah, a bit of excitement.
A lot of peace lately, which is unusual. I'm enjoying that. So, yeah, a lot of peace.
Beautiful. And just for our viewers out there, this is episode number 4. And if you want to scroll back to the previous episodes, pick your favorite console, Apple iTunes or Spotify, or even YouTube for the video. It'll be up soon. Pick your favorite episode and go for it. So let's take it in. Let's lead this in. So Tim, brother, before the founder and the leader of the movement, who were you at your core?
Well, at my core, I probably didn't know who I was at my core, but I guess what I was known as was, a bit of a party animal, a business owner, an electrician. Yeah, eventually a husband and a father. But I probably didn't know who I was at my core, whereas kind of just digging at that at the moment.
So you walked the line of a Sparky, you did your apprenticeship in your trade.
Yep.
And you branched out on your own as a subcontractor, eventually into your own business. So you had your own gang working for you, or?
Yeah, so it was about 10 of us. Industrial automation sort of space. High pressure, high stress. Machine goes down, it's costing companies $50,000, $100,000 an hour that it's down. So it's 24/7. Yeah, phone never stops, brain never stops. Yeah, it's pretty full on.
So just for the audience sake, that's like your factory work type thing?
Yeah, so production lines and waste plants, any sort of plant, manufacturing.
I know as a young lad, my background's in the abattoir environment, and when the chains broke and the engineers were put under the pump to get the system going, it costs tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep these factories at bay.
Yep.
I think the average chain costs about $30,000 every 60 minutes. It's down. Well, 60 seconds, I should say, not minutes. But yeah, I hear it. It's pressurous to be on the part of the maintenance gang. However, you learn a lot of skills from that, and a lot of pressure. And what moment or story actually sparked this Hugs Over Handshakes? Super curious at that.
Yeah, so I guess I got out of my business. Well, I was thinking about getting out of my business. I'd stepped away and it was sort of being run without me. And ended up going on the Spear Primal Man project, as you know. And the question for me was, what was my purpose? It's kind of, I didn't know what it was for a long time. I'd achieved everything I wanted to achieve, hadn't set any new goals. And it's like, I'm just wandering around, not knowing what the hell I'm doing. It was finding my purpose. And on that retreat that I was on, there was quite a few processes there. And it just sort of popped into my head. Had to refine it a little bit once I got out of that. But it was really, the reason I came to that was mainly because I had lost connection with my own kids and my wife, who I was now separated from. But I'd lost connection just from focusing too much on work, business, money, thinking I need to earn all this money to buy them the stuff that they wanted, when at the end of the day I worked out they just wanted my time. And then couple that with my own childhood growing up, and basically exactly the same thing. There wasn't a lot of love. There was a lot of handshakes, not too many hugs. And I said when I had kids I wasn't going to do it the same as my parents did, and I did a lot of things different, but at the end of the day I ended up doing exactly what they did, which was just work too much and not give me the time I wanted.
Doesn't modeling fall short from the tree?
Well, it's funny, you hear that saying all the time, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but I don't know, we all still just do what we did sort of unconsciously. you're following those same footsteps without realizing it.
Comes down to monkey see, monkey do. I'm a very passionate advocate of modeling. We're modeled already subconsciously how we get to where we are currently in our lives. Someone's modeled that behavior. And there's not necessarily nothing wrong with that. They only model what they know and know well. Sometimes it's survival, sometimes it's safety. All behavior happens for positive intent, as what I've learnt. The outcome may not be as positive or as negative as it may be, but the intention is for positive sakes. And just for clarification, the Spear, for all my audience out there, the Spear and the Primal Man Project is a men's organisation. It's a conscious men's organisation. I will be bringing guests, not just Tim, but other guests that may have walked the journey of the Spear through the Primal Man Project and other men's organisations such as Mankind Project and Real Men. And the common congruence between these organisations is men who are looking to rediscover themselves. They've gone through a situation in their life where it's come to a fork in the road, where decisions either has to be made by themselves or it will be made externally, either or. It will happen. And it's the choice of, as a man who's been initiated in 2 different organisations, do I want to change and grow for the better and the evolution of myself and the better outcome of others, or do I want to stay the same in who I was and keep modelling the previous behaviours that may not be and have, positive choices down the line? And I guess we could both agree we've all hit that fork in the road in our lives where our choices have come to that decision moment. We may have had an impact on those around us, which have had a number of consequences. I know such as my journey I've certainly have. Maybe in yours, where consequences have come, whatever that may be, potential divorce, courts, separation, addictions, whatever the outcome is, and a decision had to be made. And fortunately, opportunities have come along through support networks like our brothers through the Primal Man Project have gone, right, we'll take you. We're not going to fix you. We will model. We will show you the way. It's up to you to walk the path. Would that sound right?
Yeah, spot on.
Perfect. So I guess it leads me, so why Hugs for Handshakes?
Why Hugs Over Handshakes? Well, I guess growing up, I think I've hugged my dad once in my life. It's always a handshake, and now when we meet, it's a handshake. I still can't get him to give me a hug. I tried once. He didn't like that too much. He's very old school, and we got a great relationship. But yeah, he's old school, and he didn't have a role model at all when he was growing up. He hardly knew his dad at all. So I don't blame him at all for, I had a good childhood, but yeah, that was something that was definitely lacking, was the encouragement and the outward showing of love, I guess. So I knew he loved me, and same with my mum. I knew they loved me, but they just didn't know how to show it due to the way they were brought up.
So what does Hugs for Handshakes symbolise for you personally? If you were to picture a symbol in your mind and draw it somewhere, what would that symbolise for you?
Well, I wish I could draw it because I'm trying to come up with a logo at the moment. That's not my strong suit. But what does it mean for me? It's about families wrapping their arms around each other and getting to know each other. Like, I find the reason families get disconnected is because they don't communicate properly and they don't understand each other, and they're not able to communicate how they're feeling. And it just causes a disconnect where they just don't want to be around each other. They love each other, but they just annoy the shit out of each other. And that's what I've found. So yeah, it's about bringing them back together. And the way I do it is, through a lot of fun and some education and just gratitude for each other, and being able to show that you love each other.
So when we say communication, what led you to that sort of belief?
I guess probably because I've learned to communicate a lot better in the last few years. And when I reckon a big part of my marriage breakdown was the fact that I was unable to communicate. And I've learned a lot of communicating skills, over the last few years, and I'm now trying to teach that to my daughters. And there's a lot of barriers to break down, but we've gotten a long way. It's still hard for them to talk, But we're making big strides, and because you can't help them if you don't know what the issues are, and if they're not comfortable coming with you, sharing and talking, well, yeah, it's just going to make the divide bigger.
And would it be fair to say that a lot of us communicate on a daily basis, few of us actually connect?
I think the communicating is very surface level. It's like when you go to the pub with your mates and, you're just talking about the footy and this and that. You don't actually, a lot of those mates you don't get deep with and, let them know what you're feeling. That's the communication that needs to happen within a family. I mean, for me, it needs to happen in friendships as well. But you need to get down deeper and, this is how I feel. This is what that's doing is making me feel this way. And, yeah, if you can get to the core of what someone's feeling, you can help resolve the issue or compromise in some way so there's more harmony within the family group rather than, someone just getting pissed off, and then exploding.
Exactly right. I totally get it. I'm a stickler for surface level communication. I value depth and brevity real quick, and I have a slight degree of impatience to get to the point really quick. It's just who I am. Must be the ADD I've got. So the weather
my problem too then.
Oh, the weather talks, the pub talks, they get to me pretty quick. Yeah, I get it. Depth and brevity is what's needed. And not necessarily from a place of therapeutic talk. There's those spaces, but from a place that we can all learn from one another and actually grow. Because challenging conversations is how we grow, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's growth, yeah? Alrighty. So you've said, and I've picked up that the world doesn't just need stronger businesses. It needs stronger families. What led you to that?
Hey, Craig, I'm having some audio issues here.
Is that your end or mine?
I believe it's my end. It happened again not long ago. I might have to jump out and jump back in. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, look, it just fixed.
Testing 1, 2.
We're good. It just fixed itself.
Tech issues, squirrel moment, ADD.
Yeah, I was going to suggest it was you because you've got the whole mic thing and everything going on, but the exact same thing happened to me last week and it ended up being me. So I just had to jump out and jump back in. It's all good.
This whole podcasting journey has been a learning journey for me for tech, and I'm still figuring it all out. It's very interesting in the world of technology and being consciously aware of what's going on at all times and just trusting the process.
There's always editing, isn't there?
Yeah, if I choose to edit or not. Now, the Legacy Forge, we talk about drift, stealing identity. Now, what drift is those unconscious behaviors that slowly add up over time. That's what defines drift. And the invoice does eventually get cashed in at some point. So simple things, if we talk about in the family environment, not keeping your word as a father, like promising your kids you'll spend this quality time with them and you don't because of work, not keeping your word to your wife or your significant other because of work, those sorts of things, and even keeping your word to yourself. Simple things like not taking care of your health, skipping gym workouts, not eating correctly. These little things slowly add up to drift. You focus on reconnection. How do you see those two linking together?
Drift and reconnection?
Mm.
Well, it's funny, because obviously I know about drift, I guess, because that's what happened to me in my business personally, but I never really thought of it in a family concept. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly what happened to me. I mean, alcohol was a big part of that as well. When you're saying about eroding trust by breaking promises and things, alcohol was a big factor in that for me. But yeah, just I guess one thing was I was very rarely present with my kids. Like I was with them a lot, but I wasn't with them. So you're constantly having to stop what you're doing to take a phone call from a customer, an employee. You're always thinking about the next job, or you're thinking about the dude that hasn't paid you a shitload of cash and you got bills coming in. Your mind is just ready to explode. And so when you're with your kids or even with your partner, you're not really there because you got too much going on.
You're consistently on, aren't you? Like being in your own business, it's a little bit different to a job where you switch on at a certain time and you switch off at a certain time. Being self-employed, it's fair to say that some days you could be on and off at multiple times of the day or on all the time because your money just doesn't know where it comes from. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Unless there's some sort of structure.
Yeah, I wish I had the tools that I have now when I was running my business because as successful as it was, geez, it would have been a hell of a lot more successful, and it probably would have saved me a couple trips to a psych ward.
Yeah, indeed. So what roles do vulnerability and presence play in leadership at home compared to leadership in your business?
Interesting. At home, vulnerability, 100%, you've got to be vulnerable. There's obviously the times where you need to be the strong, the rock, but you need to be able to let your kids and your partner see you cry, and also owning your shit. Like, you make a mistake, don't try and hide it under the carpet. It's like, hey, I stuffed up, we'll stuff up, I apologize, let's fix it, so that's important family-wise. In business, it's a bit harder. Don't know. I was always pretty stoic when I was in business, but I guess that didn't do me too many favors either. I was always honest, though. I always owned my shit in business. But, as far as being vulnerable, probably not something I did too often.
If we switched vulnerable to radical honesty, what would that look like?
Honesty. Cool. Yeah, radical honesty sounds pretty full on. I wouldn't say I ever did that in business either.
I know vulnerability in the wrong space gets thrown around a lot. Experienced it myself. So we switch it to, say it, even honesty, just being honest.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong. Hey, that's me. Yep.
That's not an issue. I always did that in business. But I think when I was struggling, I hid that from everyone except for my wife, who was also in the business. I probably could have been more honest with my employees around that, and it may have helped, perhaps.
Interesting. How can a hug, something so simple, rewire trust that's been broken for years?
Ooh. You know what? I don't know if it can. I think you need to build into a real hug that gives you that, because eroding trust, it then takes quite a time to build it back. And someone can hug you, but it's not really a hug. Like, it's not until you've built that trust back, and then you know when you get a genuine hug. So I wouldn't say one hug can just fix everything.
No, it definitely takes time to rewire, and it's a journey, not a one-hit wonder. Yeah. What challenges have you faced building an organization around something so emotional when the world prefers surface level fixes?
Well, I'm new on the journey, but the biggest challenge I've got is either people don't recognize the issue within their own family, or they're too embarrassed to speak up.
Could be a fair bit of shame there too, yeah.
Oh,
I sense a lot of shame with us men particularly.
Yeah, definitely.
And the beliefs and everything else playing out.
Yeah, I know I held a lot of shame. And, I've said many times lately, there's lots of things in my life that people say, oh, you should be proud of yourself for this. And I never felt pride until, this last year, really, with what I've done with my kids, and how I've turned my life around from where it was.
Really good question, eh?
It was a good question.
What's legacy mean to you in the context of families? You're out there building this project of yours. This is your legacy. This is your gift to the world. What's that mean to you in the context of families as your legacy?
I guess my legacy initially for me is building back the connection within my own family. And, we're not 100% the way there yet, but we're a long way down the track, and we're on the right track. And I want to share the success I've already had in that space with others. And I'd really love my kids to come along on the ride with me. I had an event 2 weeks ago. My youngest daughter, 9-year-old Gwen, she ran the event with me. In fact, I think she ran the event and I was just there helping her out. So it is my dream that what we build can flow on from generation to generation and continue to help families well after I'm gone. But also, I'm not going to push them into it either. That's going to be their choice. If they want to travel this road with me, excellent. If not, it's all right. We'll find another way to keep it moving forward.
Beautiful, beautiful. So would you say Hugs Over Handshakes is shaping the next generation of communities and cultures for the long term?
Definitely. My goal is to eradicate that generational trauma that I grew up with, and giving families tools that A lot of them have been around for I don't know how long, and I didn't know about them until a few years ago, and they are so helpful. And just to have these tools and strategies out in the community is going to make a better world for everyone.
Beautiful. It sounds like there's a fair bit of transmission there. So what values or truths do you want to see carried forward?
I definitely think one of the big things is gratitude, and gratitude for each other within the family, and just being more positive in your own environment, which spills out into the community. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Give me the question again, Craig. I've kind of lost myself there.
If legacy is about transmission, which a lot of your values and truths are, what values or truths do you most want to see carried forward? If you were to bundle your values and truths up and pass them on as a gift, what would you want to see carried forward?
I think it's understanding each other, communicating properly with each other, having fun together. That's probably one of the biggest ones, you know. So often we're in a family environment and you're just going through the day to day, and you know, one thing that happened to me was I felt like spending time with my kids was a chore, and I thought, geez, I'm a shit bloke. But I was just under that much pressure, and then, you know, now I've turned it around. The time we spend together is just fun, and that is what family should be doing together, is having fun.
Having lots of fun together is important. And same with gratitude and practicing those simple threes, gratitude and threes every day. Yeah, that's
for sure
important. That's foundational, really. Being grateful.
It's about mindset. It changes your mindset from being negative to positive. It's got to be consistent.
Exactly right. Looking ahead in the next 20 years, what do you want people to remember about your work and the hugs they gave because of it?
I would say I don't want them to remember anything but to be living it.
Living in the moment.
I'd like to think that it just becomes a way of life for families to be connected and be grateful for the time together and having fun together. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't need to be remembered. It's just being lived. Being
lived in the moment.
Yeah.
Total presence.
Yeah.
Because presence can create permanence.
Ooh, yeah.
If we choose to. Remember, choice. If someone's listening today who feels disconnected from their partner, their kids, or even themselves, what's the first step they can take right now?
Pick up the phone and call me. No.
I can do that too.
Have an honest conversation with each other. That's probably the start. Just have a chat within your family and say, hey, something's not right, but let's look at doing something. Have an honest conversation with each other.
Honest, clean conversation, clear the emotions, and just sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Cool. And what's one question every father or every leader should ask themselves before they walk through the door at home?
Yep. Am I the role model?
Powerful. Do you want to elaborate on that from your experience?
Yeah. I guess, reconnecting back with my kids, and a lot of things have happened and you see a lot of things, and it'd be that monkey see, monkey do, you know, when that actually hits you, and it's not just a saying, when you actually realize that is so true. When I realized that, it's like, shit, I've got to become the best damn role model I can.
That's right. Yeah. And what's role modeling mean to you?
Well, it's leading by example. It's living with integrity.
Living with integrity. What else?
I don't know why I've got a mind block here, but it's just being the best version of yourself, because if you can, it's about living the way that you would want your kids to live, essentially.
And the best way possible, yeah?
Best way possible. Happy.
See, ladies and gentlemen, modeling is something that is it's spoken about on the podcast a lot, because modeling is the way it is. This is how we have a choice. We can either accept the actions and the situations that have been modeled onto us that's led us previously to here now, or we have the choice, hit that choice point and going, right, I don't want to live that life anymore. I don't want to put my family through what I've experienced through my previous life, and I don't want to put my family through, or those around me, my whether it's my family, my colleagues, or the greater community around me, through the actions that I have done previously. This modelling is to change, and it changes right now.
And it's great you're bringing awareness to that, Craig, because I was one, I was surprised I didn't know about modeling. Like, you know about it, but you don't really know about it. And the amount of people I spoke to that were like, shit, yeah, I didn't really know that either. Like, you know, when you look back and see the traits you have from your parents and then the traits you've then given to your kids, it's stark, but most people don't realize it. It's nuts.
Exactly. And how I learnt modeling is growing up on a farm with my father, and Dad would always tell me, come on, son, follow me around. Because that's how Granddad taught Dad on how to run the farm, right? You go and follow Dad around and you watch what he does and then you do what he does. Yeah. Then I didn't know that was modeling. I thought that was Dad was just teaching me. And then as I grew up from a little ankle biter and, got a bit of age about me, you'd throw me in the ute as a young fella and tell me to go drive it or put me on the tractor and teach me how to drive and start learning the practical skills around the farm. However, modeling is also the other side of the coin too, where we take on certain behaviors or experiences that may not be so healthy at the time. Like we may grow up in a household that we might be fighting for survival, where there might be domestic violence or some sort of abuse, which we get conditioned to that. And the body particularly takes it on between the age of 0 and 7. We take on those experiences called the modeling period or the imprint period. And those experiences, if they're not treated somewhere in that period of life or later, they can and have been suggested through research to show up, particularly with men in their lives in their 30s to 40s, with that behavior replicating and duplicating. Does that sound fair enough?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm involved in another workshop over in WA that I volunteer on. And a lot of the work we do is men's work, also dealing with childhood trauma and the generational trauma and the abuse that goes from generation to generation. It's these people don't want to be doing this. It's what they know.
No, it's what they know. And what we do as men is we suppress this stuff down.
Mm.
And if we use the metaphor of a bubble, you can push a bubble down for so far and for so long. However, at some point, that bubble's going to resurface at some point down the line, much bigger, much nastier, and much angrier. So it's important to deal with that bubble or that situation as quickly as possible as the child grows and develops through the different areas of their life before they hit adulthood, before that trauma gets too suppressed down. Yeah? Would that be fair enough?
Oh, it'd be good, but yeah. I think we're a long way off getting there, unfortunately. But
we are making efforts, and it is becoming consciously aware.
100%. That's
in
the
the
key
communities. It's unfortunate as men, the majority of us do learn only after a situation happens. I know I certainly did.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of other men can speak for themselves on that as well. Something's happened or something's gone off or a situation's happened, and that's when the lessons come home. It's like, ooh, okay, what happened here? And then I link this, and we discover some other men who have gone through the same, and we do some work together, and we all discover the links through doing our own process work, and then go, ooh, okay, there's some common denominators here. Now we have a choice to change that situation or not, keep living the same patterns.
Well, it's being spoken about now, which is a good thing. And it's actually interesting. I was on one of these workshops not long ago, and there was a few of the older guys, sort of my age and a bit older, and we've all grown up. You don't show your feelings, you don't cry in front of anyone, all of that. But the younger guys that were there that were coming through, that had changed with them, and they were able to be more vulnerable as men than what we were at their age, which is a huge positive.
Exactly right. Yeah, I think we both grew up in that age of don't show your feelings, don't cry. I know my father never really cried. He was never taught to cry. I've only ever seen him cry once in his life, and that was when my mother passed away when I was 15. That was the only time I ever seen him cry in his whole life. Where he shed some tears. Other than that, I've never seen him cry. I seen him yell, and I seen him scream, I seen him chuck tantrums on the farm, but I never seen him actually physically tear up and just emotionally regulate. Because I don't think he knew how. Because my father grew up with the Great Depression values, born and after World War II, obviously, and took on the Great Depression values. So save everything. Don't throw things out, recycle. When you go and clean the oldies' houses out, after they pass away, you find all these weird and wonderful things that you go, what the hell's going on here? Like, why did Dad keep all these, empty dishwashing bottles and stuff? And then you start linking stuff. Oh, right. And then I start linking stuff to myself and my behaviors, right? The power of modeling, right? Yeah. Where I'm saving, where I'm hoarding stuff. It's like, what do I need those dishwashing bottles for? I don't have any water troughs. What do I need to keep these old clothes for? I don't have any hand-me-downs to anyone else. I mean, that's my dad coming through, right? That's the power of modeling. Yeah, it's fascinating. And modeling's not all bad. There's a lot of good traits there as well. I mean, Dad taught me how to work hard. That's where I get my grit, tenacity, the ability to just work hard, because I grew up with a family who were settlers and pioneers. My bloodline is the founders of a town called Wairala, which is on the Clarence River, I think it is, Clarence or Wilson River down New South Wales, timber town. And they come over from England, obviously, as convicts, and then settled that area, then spread their wings from there. So we grew up with hard men, depression era. You're taught to work. That was it. Work, and work. No crying, don't show emotions. Post-war, had all the PTSD, everything like that, until something actually happens. And then get to my generation, and something did happen. We had I went through the foster care system and grew up that way because of my parents' inability to emotionally regulate in spaces required, and the power of modelling. They modelled what they knew. My mother's sake, she was modelled violence was the way to deal with disciplined kids. So that was evidently modelled onto me. Yeah. And this is where we get the houses of survivalhood, where things go off and the nervous system becomes accustomed to that. Has the similar response to a returning serviceman from the Defence Force, that PTSD when something goes off, you hit the ground. It took me years to get over that abuse. My body was just reacting to certain sounds intensely and automatically, like subconsciously. I had no control over it. It was fascinating on this power, not only physical abuse, but how modelling took shape and effect. And yes, viewers and ladies and gentlemen, I do focus a lot on modelling. It is a crux of our lives as children, both men and women. If we don't model positive traits of behavior, how can we expect to break the patterns for future generations? Yeah, modeling is so imperative. It's something I jump up and down a lot.
There's probably nothing more important as a parent than to be a good role model, because 99 times out of 100, your kids are going to end up exactly like you. Yeah, you need to be a good role model or it's just going to continue.
And what elements do you think that makes a good role model for kids?
It's all those things that we spoke about. It's integrity. It's being able to communicate. It's being able to have fun. It's being able to be vulnerable. It's being able to teach. Be patient in teaching your kids, because that can be good fun.
What's an example where you teach a young child on the power of learning through intuition or modelling at a young 5-year-old's level?
Geez, it's a while since my kids were 5. I guess I've got an example from a year or two ago with Whitney. She would have been probably about 7. Ordinarily, I'd jump in the car. We're on our way to a party, birthday party for her. Normally I'd be in a rush and just throw it in the navman and away we go. And I thought, you know what, let's get Gwen to do it. So I taught her how to use the navman in the car, and she really enjoyed it. And she's asking me lots of questions. We're communicating and working together to figure it all out. And it was good fun. And then when we left the party, we jumped in the car and we're heading home. And she's like, you want to, punch the address into the navman? Oh, I'm pretty sure I know where we're going, but go on. And so what it actually did, by me taking the time to show her that rather than just rushing and doing it myself, it's actually had so many positives. So one was we got to do something together. She learned something. But now when we get in the car, I can just get in and drive because she knows how to punch the address straight into the navman. So it's saving me time. So that bit of time that I spent, it's paid off 100%. And it was. Time. Yeah, something so simple, but it brought us closer together.
Mm-hmm. And now she has a unique skill to go and use a device that she can use in the future if she chooses.
100%.
I mean, we all got devices these days, but, Navmen are quite specific.
Yeah, well, Navman probably doesn't exist anymore. I'm just talking about the GPS in the car. That's a bit old school there.
Well, it's still a powerful apparatus. I mean, we've got Google Maps these days, which is a little bit simpler, but Navmans are quite unique in their own special way. They don't have all the distractions that the phones have these days. Yeah. So finally, where can people connect with you and Hugs Over Handshakes if they want to be part of this mission?
At the moment, it's just my Facebook page, Tim Morris, but I've got a website in development and I've just about got a Facebook page up and running for Hugs Over Handshakes as well. So, yeah, I'm powering forward and I'll be out there harassing everyone soon.
Very cool. So the best way, ladies and gentlemen, is find Tim Morris on Facebook and send him a direct message. He'll openly invite you with open arms, with a hug
100%.
and a good conversation.
Always.
Any last words of wisdom?
Just be the best role model you can because it counts.
Exactly right? Because modelling is crucial to the change that we need in society. Isn't that right?
Certainly.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes episode number 4 with Tim Morris and Hugs Over Handshakes and myself, Craig Whitney, founder of Next Level Coaching and the Legacy Forge podcast. Like and subscribe on all major platforms, Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Leave us some reviews. Reach out to Tim Morris and the power of Hugs Over Handshakes. Reach out to me if you wish for anything else, and tune in next time for the next episode, which is a bit of a surprise for episode 5, hey? Alrighty, guys, we will finish on that. And until next time, thank you very much for tuning in to the Legacy Forge podcast. Thank you and see you again.
Thanks,
Bye for
Craig.
now.